Hello friends, welcome to College Dunya Study Broad channel. Today we have Mr. Sai Venkat who completed his MS in Business Analytics from Columbia University. Columbia University has a very nice connection from India. Our father of constitution Mr. B.R. Ambedkar did his PhD in economics in 1927. Start करने से पहले if you study broad dream, please visit collegedunya.com and आपको मिलेगा 50% off on application and visa fees. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let's begin. Hello Sai, tell our users about yourself.
Hi everyone. This is Sai Venkat. I've recently graduated from Columbia University with Masters in Business Analytics, and I'm currently working as a senior analyst. I've done my undergrad in Electronics and Communication Engineering from VIT Vellore Institute of Technology. So I completed my undergrad in 2018, and post my undergrad, I've worked as a business technology analyst at a firm named ZS Associates in Pune. And post that, I started my master's at Columbia.
Great. So, what about your scores? How much you scored in the preparatory exams, IELTS, GRE, and also your GPA in your B.Tech?
So I'll start off with GPA part 10. So my GPA is 9.37 for undergrad, and then IELTS score is 8 overall score. For GRE is a bit helpful for me. I've applied during the COVID time, so I used a GRE waiver. I haven't given my GRE at all.
That's cool then. So how was the application process? Just go a bit about that journey again for our users.
Yeah, the application process for Columbia was pretty similar to any other university, I would say. We had a formal application filling up process wherein you'll have to give your LORs. The only thing I specifically remember about Columbia was they mentioned that they need 3 LORs. So that stood out for me. For other universities, it was 2 most of the times, but Columbia needed 3 of them. And Columbia also had a pre-recorded video interview kind of thing. But then the video interview was mostly to test our communication skills, nothing technical as such.
Okay. Any other colleges where you applied and you got the accept and reject? Just let us know.
Yeah. I've applied to a few other universities in the US. I've applied to USC, University of Southern California, Arizona State University, Colorado Boulder, and UC San Diego. So I got a reject from UC San Diego. And from the other 3 universities, I had an admit.
Okay, any specific reason for that, for the reject at the San Diego University?
San Diego's program was pretty technical, Nishit. Like I've gone through the curriculum later on, and their video interview was also very technical. Like they've asked me bang on direct questions like, okay, tell me a situation wherein you have leveraged machine learning to solve a problem. So the questions were at that level, and they were expecting pure technical answers as well. So that's where I think I've gone wrong with San Diego.
What about this program? How was the interview?
So the video interview, as far as Columbia was concerned, for that year, like I've applied for fall 2021. It was a pre-recorded interview, mainly intended to test your mainly intended to test your communication skills and not the technical skills. So it was, there were random questions. For example, tell us about any superpower you'd like to have and why this superpower. And we had 1 minute to answer 2 or 3 questions. So it's more around testing the communication skills, but not nothing technical.
All right. So what about the application fees? Like what was the application fees of this course?
As far as I remember, it was 150 USD. 150. They might have increased it a bit now, but it was 150 USD.
That's obvious. They will increase. So any waiver which anyone can get, any way to get the waiver in that?
For Columbia, I haven't tried for a waiver. Like a couple of my classmates have tried for a waiver by sending an email to Columbia, but then I don't think I haven't heard anyone getting a waiver for application fee from Columbia.
Okay. And what was the application deadline? How did you plan the deadlines?
So the deadline was pretty decent, I would say. Back then, for me, it was first round's deadline was in January. January ending was the first line deadline, and then the second round was February, and third round was March. The deadlines are a little lenient for that year because that was the first time after COVID for fall 2021 they started deadlines. Now the deadlines are a bit earlier, at least a month earlier. I think in December itself they have their first deadline, early admission deadline. So Columbia University is located at the center of Manhattan, right? The hub of entertainment and culture. So how did you got the accommodation and just talk about the city? New York City is a great experience, I would say, but then everyone thinks it is in the Middle of Manhattan? No, it is actually in Upper Manhattan. So Upper Manhattan has kind of rustic vibe. It is the Lower Manhattan which has the actual vibe that you're talking about, the party vibe or the always busy vibe. So it is all Lower Manhattan. So to give you a context, Times Square is in street number 42 and Columbia is in street number 116 in Manhattan. So this is towards the upper part of Manhattan. Here you'll have a bit of rustic vibe. It's not like it's not all glossy and fancy.
Pretty calmer also, right?
Calm, I wouldn't say. It's always busy. New York City, most of the New York City is always busy. So I wouldn't say it's calm. But then it has a rustic vibe. It's not that fancy vibe which you expect from a big city like New York.
All right. So how did you find the accommodation in the city?
So we started finding it online because for Columbia, even if you go with Columbia housing, you'll get a housing outside the campus because it being a small campus in terms of size, because it is a campus in the city. So the size is small if you compare it with some other university which is remotely located. So we used the websites like Zillow, apartments.com to search apartments outside in and around the university.
All right. And when did you started this? Like before coming to the US, obviously, but how long back?
So we started it once we got our visa. So that was the roadblock, I would say. Once the visa is done, I got my visa in July. So from that point, we accelerated the house search. Before we started in June or something, but then after we got visa, that's when I accelerated it. So I thought searching for roommates first would be easier than to search for the house. So I've been on a couple of apps. I don't remember the exact name of the app, but there are a couple of apps wherein you get to connect with the university specific students. You have forums, they talk about admits, rejects and all, something like your own website. But there was some other app which many of us were using. I don't remember the name. So that's where I started finding roommates first, and then I went with housing.
How long did it take for the hunting part?
For the house hunt, I would say it took around 3 weeks.
So how much does it cost?
So cost, when we started, it was 4,000 for a 4-bed, 2-bath apartment. So one more surprising thing about New York, especially in this part of New York where the university is located, elevator is a luxury. Our building had no elevator. So that's something, if anyone thinks about New York, elevator to rehta hi hai. No, that's not the case.
So you must be fit then, right?
Kind of.
Great. So coming back to your campus, like how good the vibe is, like how are the clubs and everything?
There were many societies depending on the interest, depending on your own interest. So there was one society specifically helping people for consulting interview preparations, and there were other societies for product manager interviews and all. So it's up to you whether you join these clubs and keep attending their sessions. Sometimes they do get people actually working in that particular domain. Like we had a session with a person working at McKinsey. So they'll tell their experience, their interview experience, their job experience. They'll give a candid response about that. So it was good.
Great. So how's like average day at Columbia University? It's in a city. So what all like your day looks like?
So day was pretty, in general, days are hectic because it's a 3-semester course and you have 36 credits in 3 semesters. So it's almost like 4 courses every semester will be the minimum. So it was hectic. So, and the classes are split between morning and evening, because business school classes, some of my business school faculty, they used to work elsewhere and they used to take evening classes at Columbia University. They were adjunct professors. So they were split between classes morning and evening, and in between we used to have time to get the assignments done.
Okay. So you said the faculty of the business school were working somewhere, right? So what was the profile of them, like where they were working?
So some of them were working at a tech firm and some of them in consulting. So it depends.
All right. It depends.
So it depends on the course they take specifically. Like if someone is taking a technical oriented course, then they might be working at a tech company, or they might be owning their own tech startup as well. They were people of that profile as well.
Great. So coming back to a course, just give us an insight of the course. How was the curriculum when you were doing, right? And how, because you're also working now, so how you can relate with the curriculum and the applications in the real world?
Curriculum was decent, and it wasn't a very stringent curriculum. We could choose courses from business school as well and engineering school as well. I personally liked the business school courses better, whereas some of my friends liked the engineering school courses better, and they drifted into machine learning, data science kind of roles as well. That is what they liked. For me, I was more into like the insights, storytelling part, and understanding the business context before getting into the actual analytics. That was more interesting. Curriculum was rigorous, to be honest. Some courses required a good mathematics background as well. We think we are pretty good in mathematics, but not really. Like, I think our French counterparts and Asian or Chinese counterparts, they're much better at mathematics.
Okay. So how was the pedagogy? Case-based or theory-based?
That was again a course particular thing. So for some courses, it was theory and practical combined. Like, we had a course for data analytics. So that was, we used to have a bit of theory and explanation, and then we used to delve into coding directly. It was a Python oriented course. Whereas for some other courses, like there was a course named Business Analytics itself, that was offered by the business school, and that was case driven.
Okay. So how were your friends? Like, how many Indians were there in your class?
So my class had decent number of Indians, I would say. We were a cohort of 200 people. 200 was a very big number, and that was because people couldn't join Columbia last year because of the COVID restrictions. So this time the cohort was very big. I'm not really sure after our batch if the cohort is still of 200 members. I don't think it's of 200 members now, but for that year it was 200 members, and out of 200 we had around 20 Indians. So 10%. We are not very high, as in you will expect in UTD or some other place. Maybe we'll be 50% of the cohort. For my course, at least, we were not 50%. We were 10 to 15% of the cohort.
All right. So coming to the alumni, like you must be having seniors like at that time working at various places. So how did you find them supporting you in your journey, and what was the did they match the expectation?
So talking about the immediate alumni or immediate seniors available, there were very few. Again, COVID kept us in a very tricky situation because most of them started remotely, and they were helpful to the extent they could. Like, there were 3 or 4 seniors who started a semester before us, on a year before us. So they also visited New York along with us. They started the course remotely. So whatever related to the course they could help, they did help us. But New York experience or anything which we had to face in person, that was new for them as well.
All right. So then how was the career part? Like, how did you build your career? Like, did you find any internship on the campus, like when you were there?
Yeah, part-time jobs, they were good options, but then again, they're not usual options which you think. For example, in other universities, I heard my friends, I haven't seen anyone getting a job in the dining thing. Again, COVID could be one reason, and library jobs are very popular, but then library jobs, undergrads have the first preference. So Columbia's athletic division was offering good number of part-time jobs.
All right. So what was the package? How much you were earning
right now?
No. During the internship, like what internship you did, you opted, and like what was the remuneration?
Yeah, the internship, I've interned at a firm named ZS Associates. Again, I went back to the firm I worked in India. I worked with them for around 3 years. I went back to them for the internship.
All right. And what about the on-campus jobs? You talked about the part-time job in the library and all. So how much students earn over there?
So it's a very good rate because it's in New York. So right now, I think it's 20 per hour.
20 per hour. Great. So any scholarship or anything which actually helped or any other mode of fee waiver the students can get? And also, what was the fees, and how did you like find it? Like, was it competitive in the comparison of other programs in other universities?
Yeah, I would say it's competitive when compared to other universities. It's a bit on an expensive end. I felt the fees was high. It was around 33K per semester, our tuition fee. So it's on a higher end. But then you compare it with any other university, just because business analytics involves the business school of the university, the course becomes expensive. The amount you pay per credit is very high just because business school is involved. It's the same case with other universities as well. Let's say a good university like Arizona State University. For engineering, it's
Recording
very
in
good.
progress.
But for this particular course, the fee is high.
Cool. So Venkat, tell me something about the scholarship and the fee waiver programs at the campus.
So there's one scholarship named the Sharda Ashish Scholarship, but then we need to apply for it before the early application deadline. So they offer, I believe they offer something around 5 to 10K per semester. 5K if I'm not wrong. I'm not pretty sure. I couldn't apply for it because I missed the early deadline. And coming to the other scholarships, I haven't really heard of any great scholarships being offered by Columbia themselves. But if you want to have a decent earning over there, then TAs are good because it's New York. You get 20 per hour, 22 per hour or something. And research assistantship is also good. Again, not all research assistantships, it's not, at least with respect to Columbia, it doesn't go this way that if I am a research assistantship, my semester fee will be waived and all. I've heard about it in other universities, but in Columbia, I haven't heard of something of that sort. You will be paid, but your fee getting waived for that semester and all, that doesn't happen.
So again, the career part, how did you find your college supporting in your career building and jobs and everything?
The career part, I think there's a scope for improvement over there, because the way we reach out to alumni was very different. We were reaching out the career department. They of course helped me for refining my resume and cover letter and targeting the jobs. This part was decent. I got good help from them. But then I think properly utilizing the alumni, that's where they need improvement. We only call them for sessions, know their experience. But rather than that, I felt it will be helpful if we directly reach out to them with our resume and ask if there are any openings on their own. I did give this feedback to my career placement team as well. So I think reaching out to them directly with a resume is more helpful for the cohort.
Cool. So how, like now you are 1 year away from, like almost 1 year now, you're away from the completion of this program. So how do you rate the entire experience out of 10?
Maybe 7 will be a decent rating, because from my perspective, there are a couple of improvements which could be done to the program. It was more Python oriented, which is great, which gives you an edge, because I'll talk about the pro of having a Python oriented program is that you can switch into data science or ML roles. Some of my friends have done that too. But then the con I felt is it was more Python oriented. So rather than being more Python oriented, I think keeping it a bit inclined towards SQL and applications like Power BI or something would have been more helpful. Just having one or the other dashboarding application on your resume is more helpful, is what I felt.
Okay, so Venkat, just tell us something about your job which you have got after the degree, and if possible, you can just tell us your package when you joined.
So I've joined as a senior business analyst at ZS Associates again. They were the firm I worked back in India, and I rejoined the firm. And package is around 120-ish on the West Coast. So again, mentioning the location because it depends on the location as well.
Okay, so are you happy with it?
Yeah, it's a bit different over here, but I'm still not sure if I'm 100% happy with it.
Cool. Salary is one part where no one can be happy. So okay,
yeah.
3 pros and 3 cons to justify the score.
Pros, I think the partnership between business school and engineering school. That's the biggest pro for me. So if someone likes more technical courses, go with engineering school or go with the business school. That's thing. And I think the cohort was very good. I found people who just graduated, and then I found people who were working for around 5-6 years. Who wants to get into finance industry or something? New York location is still a pro. Some of my friends were into finance, so according to them, New York location is still a pro. And coming to cons, as I said, we aren't leveraging the numbers properly. By numbers here, I meant alumni. Maybe there's a scope for improvement over there. And then the curriculum part, I think at least one dashboarding tool must be included in the curriculum, and it has to be a bit of SQL oriented as well. It's more of Python oriented. We'll have to add a bit of SQL into it for sure. It helps for the jobs. It's easier to get a job if you have SQL and dashboarding. And
Right.
yeah, and if on a lighter note, if you call it a con, some people expect a very big campus and all, but Columbia is not a big campus in terms of area because it is on Manhattan.
Cool. So any closing words for our viewers who are planning to come to Columbia University?
Yeah, so if you're planning to come to Columbia University, make sure you're good with basics of Python, and definitely brush your algebra and basic mathematics, because people, especially from India, when we apply, we might have been away from our undergrad, we might be working for a couple of years, and then people plan for masters sometimes. So in that case, we think we are good at math, but no, you're lost touch. Definitely brush your mathematics basics.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Venkat. Thanks for joining us. It had been a great experience talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.